Hello everyone, I'm William the Storyteller, and I'm here to guide you into a peaceful rest tonight. Before we begin, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps. Also, let me know in the comments where you're watching from and what time it is for you right now. I never believed in ghost towns until I walked into one. I wasn't looking for horror. I was just trying to document abandoned train routes across the countryside for my blog. My name is Darren. I'm a freelance writer and part-time adventurer. You could say I look for forgotten places that time didn't quite erase. It was always old cabins, rotting motels, half-swallowed barns. But Barrow's End was something else. It was never on any map I could find. Locals in the nearest town just a few miles south never mentioned it. When I asked an old man at a gas station about it, he stared at me and said, "Nobody lives there anymore and it's best left that way." That should have been my cue to turn around. But curiosity, as it always does, pulled me forward. I arrived in Barrow's End on a cloudy October afternoon. The road turned from gravel to cracked stone as if even the earth forgot how to support it. Weeds choked the signs. There were no birds, no insects, no wind, just still air and distant thunder rumbling like a stomach full of regret. The town was silent, not just quiet, hollow, like it hadn't just been abandoned but scrubbed from memory. Homes stood with windows shattered inward. Furniture, toys, photographs, everything remained. But it was wrong. Like the people hadn't left voluntarily. They had vanished. At the town center stood an iron arch, faded letters read, Barrow's End, 1872. Behind it lay an old railway depot, collapsed roof, half-buried tracks, and beside it, the mouth of a tunnel, tall, circular, blacker than night. There was something almost hungry about it. I set up my camera, documenting the area. But the closer I got to the tunnel, the more I felt watched. Not by something near, but something beneath, like the earth itself held breath. Then I noticed the sign beside the entrance. Metal, bolted into stone. Read, "Do not enter. Noise awakens them." My heart beat faster, but my mind fought it off. Urban legends. Maybe it was an old prank. I'd seen tunnels before, mines, military bunkers, Cold War relics. This was probably no different. I stepped inside. The air dropped 20 degrees instantly. My breath fogged before me and my flashlight flickered. The tunnel stretched deep and curved downward. The walls were lined with rusted tracks, and decades of water damage had left the stone slick and crumbling. I walked. Minutes passed. Then, something odd. There were boot prints in the dust. Not just one pair. Several. Fresh. I crouched. They weren't made by animals. These were human, barefoot, uneven, like someone limped. That's when I noticed something else. The walls weren't just stone. There were carvings, faces, hundreds of them. Not statues, more like reliefs, pressed into the rock. Some smiled, some screamed, and some, eyes wide open, looked straight at me. I wanted to turn back, but the tunnel suddenly groaned. Not creaked, groaned. It was a deep, organic sound, like something had just rolled in its sleep. Then, a whistle, faint, hollow, echoing through the darkness like it came from a train no longer alive. I ran my light down the tunnel and saw something that shouldn't have been there. The train. Black, coal dust coated, motionless, but it hadn't been there seconds ago. Its front lights were glowing faintly. I approached it. Every step sent cold through my spine. The train's doors were open. Inside it was worse. Bodies. Not real ones, but dolls. Dozens of them. Hand-stitched, filthy. Each was pinned to the seat with rusted nails. Their faces had been drawn with charcoal, twisted smiles, black eyes. And around each doll's neck was a number. 184, 194, 203. I looked up and found a note stuck to the conductor's chair. They never left. They just changed shape. That's when the lights of the train turned off, and the door slammed shut behind me. I was locked inside, in pitch black. I banged on the windows. No sound escaped. Even my own breathing was muffled. It felt like the air was thick with oil. Every second stretched like hours. Then, movement. The dolls were gone. All of them. I turned. And behind me, seated where the conductor once sat, was a man with no eyes. Just hollow sockets leaking ash. His mouth didn't move, but I heard his voice inside my mind. "You wanted to see the forgotten. Now you're part of it." The train screamed. Not the engine, the walls. They screamed like dying people. The seats pulsed like lungs. The floor began breathing. I scrambled, kicked open the emergency hatch and fell out. I ran through the tunnel, panting, screaming. But every time I passed one of those carved stone faces, it was different. They were watching me now. All eyes turned toward me. One face, my face, was newly carved, mouth open in horror. When I finally stumbled out of the tunnel, it was night. Barrow's End was gone. Not abandoned. Gone. Like it had never existed. Just an empty field under the moonlight. Only the tunnel remained. Half buried. Waiting. I drove away. Never looked back. But sometimes in dreams I still hear the whistle. That low echoing sound. And sometimes when I wake up there's dust on my feet. And hand-stitched dolls on my windowsill.